Good evening, students, and welcome to Audacity Project number 2. In tonight's lesson, I'm going to be teaching you how to take two songs and edit them together. In order to do this, you need to choose two songs that have a similar tempo. It's going to make it much easier later when we want to line up the beats of the songs. So I've chosen two songs, and to open those songs into Audacity, I'm going to go to File, Import, Audio, and the first one I'm going to choose is Get Down Tonight, and then I'm going to go to, again, File, Import, Audio, and I'm going to choose my second song, which is Jungle Boogie. And as you can see, each of those songs is now located in Audacity. Now, prior to this evening's lesson, I listened to both these songs and chose them because the tempos were similar. I also decided which parts of the song that I wanted to mix together. I'm going to begin with Get Down Tonight, and Get Down Tonight is going to use the intro, the first verse, and the first chorus. So what I want to do is I want to start by taking all of the music that I'm not going to use and getting rid of it. Now, I know that the second verse happens right after that chorus, and it happens somewhere around 50 seconds. So somewhere in this vicinity here. So I want to pinpoint that area. So in order to do this, I'm going to use my magnifying glass, and I'm going to zoom in and try to find that exact spot. It actually happens a little bit before this, so I'm going to scroll back a little bit and get my cursor. I'm going to put it right around 47 seconds so I can try to pinpoint that exact spot where the second verse begins. And as you can see, both of my songs are playing together, which I don't want. I want to listen to Just Get Down Tonight. So by going to this solo button, it's going to mute out Jungle Boogie, so I can key in on Just Get Down Tonight for a moment. So let's try that again by hitting the play button. Get down tonight. Get down tonight. Okay, so right there where I paused it, where he starts to say baby, baby, is the beginning of the second verse. And I can see my cursor is still where I started, but really where I want to figure out is that exact spot. So we need to watch the cursor and see where that peak happens. So we're going to try that one more time. Get down tonight. Get down tonight. Okay, so it was somewhere right here around 52 seconds, and you can see the peaks in the wave, and those peaks are going to be your beats. Most of the time, because it's a pulse, you'll see that peak. So I'm guessing that this peak right here is probably going to be that downbeat for the second verse. Let's see. And there it is. Now, what I want to do for now is, because I don't want to cut too much of the song off, I'm going to give myself a little leeway here. And I'm going to back the cursor up just a little bit. So as you can see, between these two peaks here is where I'm going to put my cursor. And I want to delete everything after that cursor. And that's very easy. To do that, I'm going to go up to Edit, Select, and I'm going to choose to select from the cursor to the track end. And that's going to highlight everything from that cursor beyond it. And I can get rid of it by simply hitting Delete. Now remember, we've probably got a little bit of extra here that we might want to trim off later to make a cleaner cut, but we'll worry about that in a little bit. All right, so the next step is going to be to grab the selection of Jungle Boogie that we want. So we're going to do the opposite. We're going to take the solo button off of Get Down, and we're going to put the solo button on Jungle Boogie, so we can just listen to that. Now for Jungle Boogie, I don't want the intro. I'm actually going to skip a bunch of the intro, and I want to start it right at the next section, which happens somewhere around 20 seconds. And if you look over here, again, we've got a big peak here, and we've got another big peak here. And this is the area that I want. But just for the sake of locating it, I'm going to back the cursor up a few seconds so we can hear that. Get down, get down. So you hear this little bit of a scream that happens, and this downbeat right here is really the section that we want. That's going to be the first beat that we're going to hear in the song. So again, I want to give myself a little leeway, so I'm going to back this cursor up right to kind of where that scream happens, and let's try playing it from there. Now, I went a little too far because there's a little bit of a cymbal in the beginning. So I'm going to skip that little cymbal. See if I can move that just a little bit with my arrow key. Okay, that's it. That's a pretty good spot. We're hearing just the very end and click of it, which should match in nicely with the other piece. So what I want to do is delete the beginning of the song. And again, I've got my cursor in the right spot. So now I want to go to Edit, Select, and I'm going to hit Track Start to Cursor, because I'm going to get rid of everything from the beginning of the song up to that point. And again, I can simply hit the delete button. Now, before I do this, I want to show you something really quickly. Had I paused and not and hit the stop button, I wouldn't be able to go on with my delete. For instance, get down, and try to hit this delete button now. It's not going to allow me to delete anything because the song is paused. I have to hit the stop button. Now I will be able to delete that section. So I just hit the delete button and it is now gone. So what I want to do now is line up my tracks. Before I do that, I'm also noticing that in the very beginning of Get Down Tonight, there's a lot of extra space here which we don't really need. So I'm going to get rid of that. I'm going to magnify this a little bit, and you can see that the track really starts about here. So I'm going to take this and just highlight this beginning area and get rid of it by hitting the delete button. Alright, so now that's gone. Alright, so again, what I want to do is line up my tracks so that the end of Get Down Tonight meets up with the beginning of Jungle Boogie. And to do that, I'm going to zoom out a bit so that I can see the songs in their entirety. Okay, so here's the end of Get Down, and we want to get the beginning of Jungle Boogie to match that. And the way I'm going to do it is I'm going to take my time shift tool up here. I'm going to select that, and it's going to allow me to grab this track and slide it. So that's what I want to do. I'm going to slide it all the way down so that the two ends meet up, just like that. And my cursor, I'm going to switch back to my selection tool and put my cursor right there. And I'm going to now magnify and see what's happening. Now notice that we have a big peak here, and it starts to come down. And then we have a peak here on Jungle Boogie, and we have kind of a build-up. That might be too much of a gap. What we kind of want to do is probably have, as this one's fading out and this one's fading in, we want them to overlap a little bit. I have a feeling that if we play this back, we're going to have too much of a gap and our beats aren't going to really line up. Let's take a listen. I'm going to unsolo it, and I'm going to go back a few seconds so we can hear how it transitions into from one to the other. So let me back up just a little bit, put my cursor here, and let's take a listen. That actually might work just like that. We might not have to make a change. Let's go back even further so we can get a little bit of that groove and listen one more time. Okay, and that actually worked pretty well. We have a pretty good transition there from one song into the next. So let's hit our skip to the beginning of the song, and let's listen to it once through and just make sure that transition sounds good. Here we go. Okay, so there we have it, ladies and gentlemen. A pretty smooth transition from one song to the next. So for your homework tonight, you need to choose 2 songs that have a similar tempo, and you need to save them on a USB drive and bring them into class for tomorrow. And the final part of this project is we're going to do a similar thing as we did in Project 1. We're going to then export it and save it as an MP3. So I'll see you tomorrow.